Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik from Figure It Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and today, July 3rd, 2018, has been a hell of a Shenmue-related day. It's been awesome. So many different fans getting out on Twitter, sharing the collections and all that stuff. It's been great. We asked, the community asked the rest of the community to do that, and trust me when I say Sega's paying attention to that. There's a very good reason why we want that, but that doesn't matter right now. But if you haven't done it, get up there and post your collections and hashtag Shenmue. But, so the reason today was such a big day is there's been a whole lot of information that we're now allowed to talk about, and a lot of stuff I've been sitting on for a long time, including things like the release date, which if you don't know, is August 21st, 2018. That's not necessarily new. Sega gave me a whole bunch of information I'm now allowed to dump, and this is all stuff that I've been sitting on for a while, so it's good to be able to talk about it. There's also older stuff that I'll kind of recap towards the end of the video, just so everybody's kind of caught up. I just kind of want to have one video that just kind of consists of everything. So the newer bits of information here. First and foremost, when it comes to the builds of the re-release, Shenmue II specifically will be based off of the original Xbox version, which includes all the original Xbox version improvements. There were notable changes in the textures on the original Xbox version, and specifically that camera mode. So that stuff will be present in this re-release of the game. Second is something I've seen a lot of people talking about, and there's a lot of confusion on this subject, and I'm going to address it finally. This is not a remake. This is not even really technically a remaster, but it's also not a port. So let me kind of break those down. A remake would be an example of something like Resident Evil 2, where Capcom is not using any of the original assets other than the story mode, basically, and just remaking the game from the ground up from scratch. That's not happening with this. That was never feasible. That is not going to be a thing. And when it comes to things like remasters, typically there's a whole, it's kind of the original version of the game, but there's a ton of extra work put into it. But that's a lot harder in the case of Shenmue, which I'll get into in a second. And then there's ports. A port would not be a fair way to describe this either, because a port doesn't really have any changes or improvements. It's just kind of literally just plopping it from one platform to another. This would be kind of in between. Basically, it's just a re-release of the Dreamcast version with additional improvements. The most notable of which would be the resolution is 1080p. It's going to run in 1080p. Things like load times, of course, will be better than the original Dreamcast version because it's not, hindered by the GD-ROM. But then there's additional improvements they made that you simply couldn't do otherwise, like widescreen support. And I want to get into that one a little bit. The gameplay for this will be in widescreen. However, I'm sure you've noticed in a lot of the trailers, and this has been the source of confusion, is how come in the trailers every once in a while it goes down to 4:3? Well, the reason for that is simple. That's the cutscenes. The problem with Shenmue is it was the first open world game. It was built off of an engine they had to invent, and it's a very complicated game. I'm not a programmer, but my buddy James Reiner will tell you, or anybody else who knows a lot about the programming aspects of Shenmue, it's a complicated mess, and it kind of is a miracle it even runs at all. It's kind of like, it's almost like it's held together with rubber bands and twigs. It's just amazing that it actually functions. So that being the case, the idea of porting it, which seemed at one time impossible, it's amazing they got it to work, but some of the original assets, things like the cutscenes, they were just made in 4:3 in the first place. There's simply no way to add additional scenery to it because they weren't made that way. Whereas with the game, at least, you can get away with that in the actual gameplay. So Sega has actually taken the steps to do that. So essentially what that means is game 16:9, cutscenes are 4:3. So there's that. When it comes, this is another one of those things, the audio of the game will be the original Dreamcast and Xbox version. So the Dreamcast audio of Shenmue I, the Xbox audio of Shenmue II. Again, that's another one of those things where it was built that way, and it was the original compressed audio. You can't fix that unless you go back and completely remake it, which, as I said, they're not doing that. So the audio will still sound good. It's just that it's not, a whole-on, brand new mix or anything like that. The game will run at 30 frames per second on console. PC is still unconfirmed. Additional content in the game, things like the arcade games. All of the original arcade games that were there in the original releases, things like Afterburner and Hang On and all that stuff, that's all going to be there. They're not taking any of that stuff out. They did add a new feature whereby you can save anywhere in the game. Now that was a big one. Back in the day, especially with Shenmue I, you knew you had to like run back to Rio's house and save there. That's all you could do. Now you can save anywhere. Now some of the older information that you guys already know, but in case you missed it, things like time skip, which is available in the second game but wasn't available in the first game, is still only available in the second game, not available in the first game. It's available on Xbox One, PS4, and PC, physically on PS4 and Xbox One. Retails for $29.99 across all versions. That's USD, but in other countries, it's in competitive pricing in local currencies. It's got dual language support, so it supports both the English dub done by Corey Marshall and others, as well as the original Japanese audio, so you can actually swap between. You could play the whole game with Japanese audio and English subtitles. Additionally, in case you missed it, there's a whole bunch of new screenshots that were not in the trailer that you can see right here and now. Obviously, I think it looks pretty good, and hopefully you would agree with that. Good examples of the game being in widescreen and gameplay, but also having cutscenes in 4:3. It will also include a poster, which is dual, it's reversible art. So basically flip it and you have two different posters. It will be included in all physical versions for Xbox One and PS4. I've seen some confusion about that as well. People are saying like, I ordered it at this retailer, do I still get it? Everybody gets it. It's inside the case of the physical version, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, in case you missed it, this collection will support save transferring feature from the first to the second game. Europe got to enjoy that feature for years on the Dreamcast. North America was deprived of it. Japan had it, but this collection will support it. That's awesome. Unfortunately, you will not be able to transfer your save from the collection over to Shenmue III. Simple reason for that is purely technical. I mean, Shenmue III was in development way longer with a totally different engine, totally different team. Sega has nothing to do with that game. So they didn't build it. They're not building Shenmue III with this collection's existence in mind, nor was Sega really, there's just no connection there. So it makes sense that it wouldn't be supported, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be great, but it's not going to be a part of it. And I guess that's kind of it. Don't forget, again, the release date is August 21st, 2018. I hope you go out and support it and pre-order it and everything. It's already kicking so much ass, as you can tell on like Amazon pre-order lists. It's like #1 in PS4 categories in like so many different countries. I'm just so proud of the Shenmue community. And it was amazing. I remember talking to the guys at Sega and they were kind of like, and we hope it does well. And I'm like, I think Shenmue fans are going to surprise you. And I can tell you firsthand talking to them, they were surprised. They were surprised by how awesome the reception has been from the community. So this could mean big things, guys. I just want to put it out there that supporting this means a lot of promise from Sega. Like they're very pleasantly surprised with how this is going. I'll just leave it at that. And the only other thing I can throw out there, other than the biggest thank you in the world from a huge Shenmue nerd, is a thank you to Sega for allowing me to be part of all of this and be included. It's literally a dream come true. Last thing though, for real, there's a new trailer. It's already been out for a little bit. Sega gave it to me and let me put it up on a previous video. I'm just gonna attach it here so you can go ahead and see a whole bunch of new Shenmue goodness of the re-release. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Be with you.
What are you waiting for?